And welcome to the What's Your Story podcast. We've taken a little break, but we're back with my friends.
Michelle Hausbeck, whoop whoop.
And Jason Gardner, the change
Yay! Nerd. So we're doing this just audio now so we can be more comfortable and have more fun. And unfortunately, you can't see the fun, but we're going to have fun. So hang in there and listen to us.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Well, let me ask a question. So a lot of things have changed, right, since the last time we all gathered and chatted. Mm-hmm. Would you like to give us an update?
Sure. So I scrapped my previous brand and company, and we now have Kingdom Story House. That is literally the house that Story built. So underneath that brand, we have the Story Academy, which has been condensed down to 2 days instead of 4.5 years. And then
Truth.
we have the Story Bureau, which is a lot smaller than it was. We still have speakers that are more faith-based, story-based speakers. And then we still have our event, Story Fest. And we've added Transformed, which is a platform where you can be trained on how to be a Christian coach or trainer. And then we have the Train the Trainer, which is I basically train you to do training and coaching exactly like I did it for corporate for so long. So I'm pretty excited about all these fun things.
Yes.
Now, it wouldn't be a good talk about Kingdom Story House if we didn't get a bit of your story about the transformation, about how you moved in this direction, and what was the big move that happened for you that got you there?
Well, so my coach, Bob, he in 2023, isn't that crazy? It was the end of 2023.
I still think it's 25 right now.
Oh, yeah. Good thing we don't write checks, because I'd be writing 24 on the check still.
Oh, jeez.
So he asked me a question one day, and he said, I'm tired of hearing you talk about how you want What's Your Story to be everything and all the things and blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was rude. And he said, so let's make a decision. Make room so you can, grow it, or just let it go. And I was like, let it go. What? This is like my baby. So, because I didn't know what else to name it, I kind of scrapped Missy Day's Success Consulting, and we just went with What's Your Story as the name for the business. But it didn't make sense. The more it went along, the more trouble I had explaining, well, what does that even mean? Well, don't ask me that, because I'm horrible at explaining what any parts of my business is.
It's hard.
And so my friend Claude, I just put in there one day, I said, this is my business. These are all the things I do. I need a new name that makes sense. So it gave me this long list of all these names. And then I saw Kingdom Story House, and I just got goosies all over. And I was like, that's it, because that represents, the kingdom is because it's for God. Story, obviously, because it's all stories. And then it's the umbrella. It's the house that all those things fit in. And so that's what happened. And then Michelle, who's a branding ninja queen, she just created all these things that were just so perfect. And so here we are with Kingdom Story House.
And I'll say, I remember when you shared the list with me, we were sitting at Cracker Barrel. Mm-hmm. And that one too, I got goosies. And I thought in my head, I said, there is absolutely no way that this domain is going to be available, because it's such a good name. And it's a God thing. I went to my GoDaddy, and there it was, .com available, not $5 million.
Yeah. And then the LLC was available. It was just crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I got goosebumps right now.
It was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was absolutely supposed to happen. And all of this is now at kingdomstoryhouse.com.
Yep. It's all live and up and
all there.
All the things.
So beautiful.
Yeah, we'll put a link down in the show notes.
Yeah.
But speaking of branding, so when you get to kingdomstoryhouse.com, you're going to notice the rich colors and the feel match the story that Missy just meant. What inspired you, Michelle, to get that? Because it's perfect. It really is perfect. The colors are perfect. The font is perfect. It really feels like Kingdom Storyhouse. What got you to that?
I think it's exactly what you just said. When I'm putting together a brand, well, I do this thing called the brand exam, which it's a lot of Q&A with the client. And I've known Missy, worked with Missy, been part of What's Your Story Fest in some degree for many years. And so I was looking for fonts and color palettes and all of that felt kingdom worthy, yet were still fun. But it's interesting. So the What's Your Story had, I think, 6 different colors in it, similar to a rainbow, but not all the colors of a rainbow. And what we did is we did like a muted, more bold version of those. So there's still like a nod, right, to where it all began. Mm-hmm. And then this podcast is called the What's Your Story podcast still. So we still have bits and parts of it in there, which I think is really cool. But just putting it all together, it felt like Kingdom. It's a feeling that you get when you see it all together.
Yeah, the font is very medieval, King Arthur, Camelot looking
Castle.
To fit. Yep, Kingdom Storyhouse. So it's really
well. And Missy's heritage is Scottish too, so we wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted that represented in there somehow, which she captured beautifully with the knots at the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm. The Celtic knots, yeah.
And that's where people can go see all the stuff that's coming up, all those things you mentioned in the intro, the upcoming Story Fest in a month.
All the events are on there.
All the things.
All the things.
In one location.
Yes.
Yay.
And you just had a graduating class, correct, of the Academy?
Yes. We had 3 graduates, and so far, since we've started the Story Academy, I have had 22 graduates.
Yay!
That's great.
That's amazing. I love it.
People out there passing it on, paying it forward, telling their story.
Yep. Story changes lives. It's the power of it.
And you also recently did a 1-day boot camp. Tell us about that. How did that go?
Well, the most recent class that graduated took 10 months because of people's schedules and everything. And in between, people kind of lost interest. I lost interest. It was just one of those things that's is this ever going to end? And so I was telling Michelle, I was like, there's got to be a way that we can shorten this thing down so it's not lasting forever. And so she came up with a plan, and we worked out what the first day would look like, encompassing a high-level overview of big pieces of the curriculum. And then we got through the first day, and it was so much fun, and it was so wildly different than the Academy because it was in real time. They're actually working on their stories as we're learning and, working them out loud, and then they partner with, the person that's there. And I can't believe how much we got through on the first day. I mean, from the time they walked in and weren't sure what they were going to talk about to when they left the room with a solid story, which Edgar shared on the news last night, his story. And it was just so great. So now we are putting together the second day. So that the first day, if that's all you want to do, is just learn how to tell a simple story, how to craft it, get it out of you. That's the first day. If you want to go a step further and make longer stories or even a keynote and be certified, then you would take the second day.
Yeah. It was amazing to see what happened in, I'll say, 5 hours as opposed to 4 to 5 months. There were transformations, there were breakthroughs, and at the very end, they literally could have gone and told a 5-minute story. And what Missy said, Edgar, one of the guys in the class, he had an opportunity to be interviewed on the news yesterday, and that's his story that he put together is largely what he shared.
Was there a benefit to having almost real-time practice versus the time in between that used to be?
Huge, because you're sitting there and you're actually watching them doing the work in the notebook, which before, if they, take this module home and do it,
You
Did
don't know.
they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they'd come back the next time and didn't have a chance, and the other people would be like, "We prepared. How come you're not prepared?"
I kind of equate it to like, I've used this analogy before. Like you have your junk closet, right? Like you got to get in there. You got to start it, but then you got to get it all out, and it's a freaking mess. And if you leave it there and don't attack it at that time and kind of do it all in one swoop, it's like hanging out there. You don't know what to do. You're looking at it, and that's kind of dragging it out over 6 or 8 months or whatever. It doesn't get attended to as it should, right? With the boot camp, you're getting into the closet, you're getting all the mess out, you're digging through it, you're going through it, you have other people helping you, and you put it back all nice and organized, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing.
And you get to teach them how you go about bringing that out, right? So Edgar, for example, he told the basics, very basics of his story in the shed and kind of like moved through that real quickly. And so we were like, how did you end up in the shed? And who would do that to their child? And describe the shed to us. Tell us about it. Make us see it in our head. And what were you feeling in the shed? And so then that just like broke through like crazy.
Yeah. He actually had emotions that he had probably tucked away, right? He allowed those to come out and like work through them in real time with support too, with all of us there.
And I think asking people to describe it is a great exercise. Like when we went through the academy and we got an object, mine was a cardinal. And so every time we got together, I had to tell a story about this cardinal. Sometimes it was related to St. Louis because of the baseball team, and I have family there. Sometimes it was seeing birds. Sometimes it was the color red. But that description probably helped him get it out, because when he had to start with the details, he realized, oh, this makes a much richer story.
Right. So what was your experience going through the academy?
It transformed how I tell stories, because I have facilitated for quite a while, but facilitation isn't the same as storytelling, because facilitation, you're putting things into the middle, participants and attendees are putting things in the middle, and sometimes stuff comes out, sometimes learning happens, sometimes it doesn't. But when we went through and I got structure to my story and thought about, okay, I really need to have an intro, I need to have something that makes sense with really good descriptions. And I think the advice that you gave us is always prepare so that you don't lose it on stage really resonated, because I've seen other people, like when equipment fails or the lights go out or the Microsoft stop working, they lose it. And your story grinds to a halt and you almost don't ever recover from it. And it has changed me. I just keep going. Don't lose it on stage.
Yeah.
Missy said, don't lose it on stage. So you keep going, even if you kind of forget your train of thought. Like when we did graduation, there was a key piece of my story that I always told about my parents about the sale of the van. And I know Michelle gave me feedback, you gave me feedback. I was reminded before I went up there. I still forgot, even in graduation, to talk about that they finally sold the van. But it didn't matter because I kept going.
Right.
And so they don't know that you didn't cover it. But if you panic that you've forgotten about it, it will derail you. So staying focused and not losing it, and rehearsing the story so many times that you're comfortable with it. Graduation was a piece of cake. Well, I shouldn't say I wasn't nervous. I think everyone's nervous at graduation, but it sure went a lot smoother. And having that structure that we had learned in the academy, it's way different now when I tell stories and talk to people.
That's awesome. Yeah, you had great stories. And you were going through life during the class.
Yeah. Both my parents passed last year, and so there was a lot of life that happened, and yeah. But I think now I can tell that story too, and be more mindful about how I tell that story, because you have personal emotions that bubble up, but if the emotions aren't relating to the story or aren't going to help the people listening, then maybe it's not appropriate right then. That was another good thing that I learned, is you can get out there and share the experience, and you can share your feelings and emotion, being mindful that are the recipients going to be overwhelmed with what you're giving them. If you drag too much out of the room and take too much energy, because now it becomes super sad, and you can take a little dip and talk about it, but then rise back up and talk about, yes, I have this legacy from my parents and the things that happened, and we can talk positively about it. It's again way different versus, oh, I'm really sad. I don't I probably would not have told that story at graduation if it was too emotionally overwhelming, because I would take everybody over the edge with me, and I don't want that.
Right. Yeah, there's like a fine line, I think, in storytelling. Like, Edgar and I were talking last night. He goes, "But I got it choked up at the end." And I was like, "That's the best part." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "Because that's relatable. It shows that you are authentic and real, and you're still overwhelmed by how you've created this business and how well you've done." And I think, it's like we talked about in your academy. You don't want to be the person that gets up there and sobs on stage and then somebody has to come get you.
Yep.
But if there's emotion, that makes it even better because the audience is going to feel that, with you.
I also like emotion, like we're talking about, because I think it helps others realize that when we're telling a story and we've gone through it already, right? We're kind of on the other side of it. It wasn't easy, because I think there's some speakers or storytellers that tell the story of, where they're at now, and there's not much emotion, or it's all like the good highlights and this and that. And it's like, no, it's hard sometimes, a lot of the time, right? To when you have emotion that comes out, it helps people realize, like, it's okay if you're in the hard part, you're gonna get through.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be mindful not to use your story, though, as therapy, meaning that, well, if you're still processing it, you may
Right.
want to rethink
Right.
how much detail do I share? When do I share? Do I need another story? Because you could still be processing, and you don't want to process live.
Yeah.
People will not resonate with what they're hearing because they'll get caught up in the emotion, and then they won't hear anything else that comes out of you because now they're processing,
Right.
and they're internally sad. And yeah, it changed. It changed also too because so Stacy Mulligan, the Disc Queen, one of our great friends, member of Storyfest and Kingdom Storyhouse, she'll tell you that eyes love to talk about ourselves. We love to make it about us all the time. And the Academy taught me that, yes, I can put myself into it and I can share my experiences. But if it's all about me, I'm going to lose them. They want to hear my experiences, but they don't want to hear me.
Right.
Right.
And so I learned now to craft my stories so that I'm more mindful of, here's an experience that we can all benefit from, and here's the learning lessons from it, and here's how it changed my life and possibly your life, but not me the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So you train, you do a lot of training. So is there a difference in your training because of the academy?
Yes. In addition to the not making it about me all the time and being more focused on the people that are there, there's structure in the story. So, for example, and it's on the website too, but when we talk about Nick Fury and the Avengers driving change, making sure that there's a purpose and an intent to the story. Don't just tell it for the sake of telling it. Make sure that it supports the content. Make sure that it's going to benefit the listener or the attendee. It makes me think about how it's impacting them, not me. And that changes how I've talked with people. It even changes how I interact with leaders at work, because I'm more curious and ask questions and get them to tell the story instead of me telling the story on their behalf. I mean, I already know what their problem is a lot of times when they come to me saying, "Hey, I need help with," and like, "Oh yeah, I know, but tell me about, share with me what is happening," and these kinds of things, and get their story. And there's way more engagement when I get other people to tell their story, and then we work on that versus me coming with a solution.
So tell us your new thing.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue.
It is a perfect segue because we now have the changenerd.com and we have the Change
Yay.
Nerd video channel on YouTube. Yeah. So first, thank you for your support in getting there, because it does take a village. Nobody's meant to do anything on their own, and so encouragement has been helpful. But it's to bring change for the masses, because we all go through it. To your point, I went through it last year. You're going through it today. Michelle's going through it. We're all going through some change every day. It's a skill we don't teach people. When you go to school, in junior high school, we don't teach you how to be change resilient. If you go to college to get a degree, we don't teach about change. And in real life, it's kind of hard to find practical change advice because so much of it is corporate and technical and hard to understand, or cost prohibitive. It's, $4,500 to get a certification. You need to have something that you can deal with every day, and a place where you can go and get advice on, you know what, I'm having a hard time with being an empty nester, or I'm having a hard time dealing with the loss of a loved one, or I can't get people to understand why I want to paint the powder room red. Those are all things that you can learn at the Change Nerd, because we're going to talk about those things, and we're going to bring in folks like yourselves and other subject matter experts to talk about life, because change happens every day. And the more we can get comfortable with it and the more resilient we can get, the easier. It's never perfect. I'm never going to say it's perfect, because you're never going to be able to say, oh, that change was a breeze. I'd like to find people out there that can say change was a breeze, because it usually isn't.
Right.
Can it be easier? Yes, that's what our aim is. Let's make it easier.
Yeah. And I love that you use so many pop culture references.
Because you can learn from them.
You're learning, and it's fun, and it's consuming sometimes complicated or very emotional topics in a way that is digestible and it resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny now when I'm watching shows on television, I have a notepad next to me. Like The Pit. I've been watching The Pit, and Dr. Robbie brings up the Hawaiian prayer of Ho'oponopono, and it was, having just gone through my changes and everything, it was a very emotional moment. But I'm like, he is so good at change, because they go in and they think they have a diagnosis, and then it's flipped upside down, or something happens they didn't expect, and he deftly navigates them through it, and he's there for them, and he's like, let me know what you need, and does a debrief at the end where they may have a moment of silence for people that pass, or just these other masterful change things. I'm like, oh, we could do tons about him alone, but yeah, it's there. It's in front of us every day in movies and TV. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I love it.
So let's talk about, how did you come up with the branding for the Change Nerd?
Oh, how did that happen?
Because it's perfect.
It's interesting, because when I was talking with Jason about something he's passionate about, and then especially change, and him and I geek out about pop culture stuff sometimes, it's like there was like this character that kind of came out in you. So I was like, let me try it. Let's see what it looks like, right? If there's a character, and it came out, and it felt right. I was like, all right. And then he loves pop culture, so it's kind of that comic book-y, like old Batman, bam, wow feel. And since he's been doing his videos, just his voice, his persona, it's so perfect, I think. I don't know, he's just a very colorful person, very bright and silly, but serious at the same time. And like, Jason's like a character to me in a good way. And I think that's, I don't know what was in my head and rolled out.
It did. It captures it perfectly. The colors, the Legos, the comic book feel, I do love bright colors. I'm wearing bright purple today. I always like to have some burst. If it's not in my socks, it's in the shirt. So there'll always be as Nathan Lane says in The Birdcage, one must always have a touch of color. So there's some everywhere. Yeah. So, yeah, it's perfect. And that's, I think, it really is the quintessential result of the brand exam, because it is perfect. And everybody that goes through the channel feels that same way. They're like, how did she capture you? And I said, that's what the brand exam does. You'll go through an interview, you'll share what you're passionate about, she'll do some homework, she'll give you some drafts, and then you get this thing, you're like, have you been living inside my head for the last 6 months? Because this is exactly everything that mimics me, from the look and the feel and all of it.
Yeah. It's so fun for me. Like, I love doing the brand exams. I love what I do. And one of the reasons is, ideas always start in our head, right? And it's hard to articulate what the ideas are. So the brand exam is designed, right, to help pull all that out. But then now it's in my head as well as the potential client's head. So now it doesn't exist yet. And by doing the brand exam, it's written now with some, very early like digital sketches, but you start to see what it could look like. And then as we move further, like, it's exciting for me and the client because it just lived in someone's brain. And here it is, visual and tangible and real. Like, I did a brand exam recently. It's for a couple that's actually trying to move from Germany over to the US. And I did, the very early on digital sketches of what it could look like. And she started crying when we got to that page. And I said, why? What's going through your mind? She said, it's real. She goes, I'm on the page. And I was like, oh, I'm so blessed. That's like my favorite point is when someone first sees what was in their head and it's real.
Well, and we appreciate you using your talent to bless the rest of us, because it does take someone who has that eye and that feel and that look and puts the energy and effort into getting to know you and puts together the brand exam that asks the right questions so that it gives you a look and feel that moves people to emotion. Because every time I look at the webpage, I just smile because it's me. It's colorful, it's comic, it's cartoons, it's totally me. So, and I know others feel the same when they get theirs too. We look at other one-pagers that you've done, websites that you've done, that same look, it is perfect for the person and everything that they do. Kingdom Story House is Missy. It is you on a page, and you in the collateral, and you in the look and feel, and it's great.
Well, you had asked how we, got to Kingdom Story House, and that's how we got to the name and things. But prior to that is when Michelle did a mini brand exam for the Speaker Bureau on Zoom. And so we're sitting there and we're going through and I'm answering the questions and I'm like, this is not right. What your story is not happening. It's not it. And that's, and I told Michelle, I said, going through the brand exam is when it became clear to me that this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I've had 4 brands in my career, and it's the one that I have now, Hausbeck brand. It's probably going to go through another iteration, more like a very small refresh, but it's frustrating when the look, the feel, sometimes the language doesn't fit what's inside of you. And I get how hard it is to articulate it because I've been through it myself. So I love Kingdom Story House. I love the Change Nerd. You guys are
easy to talk about, right? When it's really truly you.
Yes.
And people say, "What is the Change Nerd?" It just flows out like you've been talking about it forever.
Yeah, because it's true. If I had something if I just said, "Oh yeah, this looks okay," or "It looks fine," but it really didn't, it's kind of like when you're trying to get people to move through change. Here's a cheap, shameless plug for Change Nerd. But if you don't believe in it, it's really hard to get others to believe in it too. And that's why Kingdom Story House, Change Nerd, because it looks and feels like us, you're right, we can speak about it because we're comfortable with it. It's authentic. It's, it's me. It's me on a page. And others are kind of like, that's so you. And it just validates that that's the right thing.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because I can see, if I'm out networking or talking with someone, we've talked about this, and, I'm so-and-so, what do I do? And they kind of have a hard time. Or it's like, oh, what's your website? Give me your business card. Do you have some materials? And they throw a disclaimer before, right? They're going to hand you anything or send you anywhere. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. You want to be proud and excited, and so
I tell Michelle all the time, I'll see some hideous website and I'm like, oh my God, you need to reach out to this person because this is awful.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm glad we include her on the notes of the Change Nerd so people can say, you want this same look and feel or something that matches you? Call her, please, because I'm with you. I'll go to a website and almost close it instantly. And then I think, oh, goodness, that's hurting your image.
Well, a good brand should tell a story, right?
Yes.
Swinging back around to story. And in every touch point, whether it's the actual person, right, that is, or the people involved, or it's the website, a business card, all you people that don't believe business cards sell poo-poo, They still have a job to do.
Yes.
It can get someone excited about what you do just by the way it looks and the way it feels, and it shows that you're proud of your company when, you hand them something with a smile on your face. Like, there's so much more to the full story, when every piece is telling and telling the same story and making people feel a certain way.
Right.
Yeah, I think I had traveled shortly after we did the brand exam, and it was right after Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines had merged. And the flight attendant had on a Hawaiian shirt in Alaska's colors. So somebody moved quickly to start integrating the brands. And a lot of people have claimed that the merger was going to be unsuccessful. It's been very successful so far. And part of it may have been from having the employees be part of that brand merger too, that they got to have the look and feel. And a Hawaiian shirt with the Alaska colors means we're one big family, and you can make the merger work. So it does make you really more focused on, is it saying what they intend to? Because sometimes brands don't.
Right. They do not. Like, I'm just going to throw out Southwest right now because we were just talking about it. It's unfortunate because what their brand story was built on, and this has nothing to do with like their looks, right? The colors, anything like that. This has to do with the story and the culture. And they are no different now that they're doing what everyone else is doing. There's no value prop. There's no differentiator. It's just another airline, unfortunately.
They need to take the hearts off their planes, because now that they've gone to every other domestic carrier look and feel, there's no heart. They don't have that piece of their culture that used to separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody that's taken like 3 flights since the whole change. And she was saying that, they used to be fun when they'd be making announcements and all that stuff. That's all gone.
Yeah. The culture has completely changed.
Yeah.
So that's another piece of branding and story.
Yes.
Is the culture internally, and then externally, obviously, how you treat your customers. And who does that really well?
Who?
What brand do we all love? Not for the product.
Starbucks. Well, that's funny because I was just going to say their new CEO, who is true, there's been a lot of them, and they've all said, we're going to go back to basics, and they never do. It's some like weird version. But this one, he's like, I want to bring back the stuff that people loved. So they're bringing back the overstuffed chairs and the little, like end tables and coffee tables and the sofas and all the things that attracted people to them in the first place to want to come and hang out. And they went through those years of where, here's the big table, look for your letter of your last name and take your drink and go. Right?
Yeah.
And now they're reversing that. And he's like, no, I want them to come in. I want them to stay. I want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
Because we have great coffee? No. Because it's the atmosphere.
It's the atmosphere.
And they know us.
Yeah, they know your name. Even if they don't know your name, right? If you're going into a Starbucks where they don't know you, it's still, they're so welcoming. There's little things on your cup. And I was in a Starbucks yesterday, not my Starbucks. They were slammed. And I thought, this would be where, if the culture wasn't dialed in, the little nuances would fall away. Because it takes time to take out the Sharpie, take the lid off, because they don't even have the clicky Sharpies, right? And draw, whatever on the cup for every single customer. And they still did it. And I thought, good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
And it is a nice little message when you get that. Sometimes it's just what you need for the day.
Yeah.
It's may just be a hi or a Cheaters or a Happy Friday, but they're moving there. They're getting there. But it's also having to unlearn and relearn, because for so long they were moving in that very mechanical produce direction. And now to bring the people component back in, it is yet another culture shift, which we know is super hard. So I wish them luck.
Yeah, because the staff have to be on board or else it doesn't work. But I think when it works is when the CEO is making it work and is all on board. Then it's easier for the buy-in for everybody else.
Yeah.
As opposed to you go in and you do training and C-level people are going, I'm not doing that. It's like, well, why are you asking your employees to do it then?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like undercover boss. You got to understand the trenches and, be willing to do what you're asking
Right.
them to do. Yeah. And I'm just going to do a shout out real quick for my mom. Hey, Starbucks, let's put the chai tea latte recipe back to whatever it was before.
It's
Oh.
foul. It doesn't even
Yeah.
taste like a chai tea.
Dirty
Oh.
socks, which
Ooh.
is I've gotten into the Facebook comments on some of these posts now, and that seems to be the winning comparison.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh.
I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a fun fact about Fred since you brought up Birdcage.
Yeah.
Fred knows every Nathan Lane line in the movie and says it quite often. He'll just burst out, "It's still me." Well, all of the things.
Oh, I knew I loved Fred for many reasons, and now there's more, so that's terrific.
Oh, I want to get Doug and Fred, because I'm sure that they could go toe to
Oh,
toe with
yeah.
that. What movie is like that for you, where you know every single line almost?
It'd be either Dirty Dancing or The Devil Wears Prada.
No one puts baby in a corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you, Jason?
The Birdcage is up there. I would say Steel Magnolias.
Oh,
We
good one.
In fact, Brian is going to be he's getting a new car, and it's gray with a red interior, and we're going to call it Fern after Aunt Fern, the lady that made the bleeding armadillo groom's cake that's in the
Yes.
garage.
Oh my god! I need
So-
to rewatch all of these movies now. I
Yep.
love them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're great movies. They don't make them like they used to, I feel, in some
they
cases.
just don't.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Mm-mm.
There's and speaking of culture, so Missy, you have done a brilliant job of curating people who are part of the Kingdom Storyhouse family by finding folks who match the culture. How important? I feel like it's been super important for you that the culture matches, that they're fit.
Mm-hmm.
And has that helped you as you guide and direct Kingdom Storyhouse to have the right people that are fit for it to be part of it?
Yeah, I think changing the brand to Kingdom Storyhouse made it apparent who fit and who didn't.
Yeah.
And so those changes needed to be made because if, the same with you with Change Nerd and you with your brand is it becomes like your baby and you want to protect it. And part of that protection is you don't want people out there saying they're part of Kingdom Storyhouse and they're not even close to the culture that I'm trying to build,
Mhm.
right? So it was hard, but a lot of people had to go, and I'm sure there'll be more people that probably don't fit,
And it might open doors for others that will be a fit too.
Yeah. I think that's really important to note too. And you and I have talked about this, Missy, quite a few times throughout the years. Is a brand promise, right? Whether it's an internal promise to their employees or even external to the consumers. If you're gonna say it and you're gonna promise it, and you don't deliver that, and it's the complete opposite of what it is, it breaks trust, right? On either end, internal or external to the consumers, and you need to have the right people internally to be able to deliver the brand promise, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I don't know, participation's not the right word, but the buy-in from other people now that I've approached for like Storyfest in Franklin, Tennessee. So I've been trying to find a closer, and I did not know that like during September, like that's the Christian artists' busiest time of year because there's so many festivals. And they play a lot of the festivals. That what gets them out in front of people. So I've been trying to find a closer person that's not already booked. So I was talking to the agency that books for Ann Wilson. And so they were talking to me and they said, she's worked really hard on her brand. How do you think her brand fits in with Kingdom Storyhouse? I said, well, her latest song is My Life is a God Story.
Mm.
And I said, that's what Storyfest is.
Ding, 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 ding.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, we love her name. And they were like, how did you come up with that name and what's it all about and all the things? And like we were saying, when you love it and it is who you are and what you do, then you just explain it, and they're like, "Wow, that's really cool."
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen here, FYI.
Yeah. Vegas doesn't understand story, unfortunately.
Because I think a lot of people are consumed with their own story.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily concerned about other people's stories.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do we have coming up with Kingdom Story House?
Well, we have on April 11th is our 10-year anniversary.
Yay! 10 years.
10 years. So crazy. So it's almost sold out. We have 5 tickets left, I think. I haven't looked today, but 5 left. And because it's our 10th anniversary, the tickets are $10. And I guarantee you, you won't have an afternoon for $10 like this anywhere else in town.
Nope.
Nope. So we're going to go to do the origin story. So we're going to start with how it even started in the first place. And then we're going to be interviewing somebody from each year on the impact that What's Your Story Storyfest made on them or they made on the audience. So, and we're going to talk about how God showed up in 2023 and became part of the plan. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. I've been wanting to do this for so long. Yay! The story behind What's Your Story.
Michelle is always back there going, I don't know, years.
Yes.
Why don't we tell the origin story?
No,
Yeah,
we're
not
gonna.
now.
Well, God's timing is always perfect. I think he was like, okay, ladies.
And for those of us that were, have been recent additions to the What's Your Story family, we get to hear from those that were the OGs. So this will be great. I'm excited for it too.
Me too.
I'm very excited because Jill, who was at the very first one and has only missed one in all the 10 years, and she missed it because of her husband, but she's very excited, and she's telling all of her friends that she's going to be an OG. She's like that. And she's so excited, and I'm excited for her because it'll be a nice opportunity to thank her for her support, all the time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We love Jill.
Tickets are still available at kingdomstoryhouse.com, correct?
Yes.
Good.
And go to events.
Okay.
Yep.
But move quickly because they're
we're
going
gonna have
fast.
a sellout. I'm very excited.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Sell out. And then we have another one coming up in Franklin, Tennessee.
September 19th.
Yep. And you can get info and tickets on kingdomstoryhouse.com events tab as well.
And that's another thing. Those tickets are $25. So think of this. You're going to be in Franklin, Tennessee, which I kind of like. And you're going to see Olivia Lane, Jessie LaBelle, Ryan Stevenson, Helen Smallbone for King and Country's Mama, and then whoever we get for the closer. I mean, you're going to see 5 Christian artists for $25.
Yeah, it's like a Christian concert essentially, and you get to hear them tell a story. I mean, you're not going to get that for $25 anywhere.
No, no, you wouldn't be able to stream that for $25.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those tickets soon too.
That's
that'll
right.
That'll be sold out super fast.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Michelle and I were like, okay, so how much is this the food quote for? And I said 50. How many do you think's coming? 100?
Maybe more.
I don't know.
I'll be ordering Domino's pizza on the app. No.
Yeah. We ran out of tacos, so we're switching to pizza.
Put a bunch of protein bars in the back for emergency.
Right, exactly. Make some popcorn in the microwave. I'll be right back.
Oh, this one place. Have you ever had pimento cheese
Yes.
and biscuits?
Oh, yes.
So good.
Yes.
Yes.
That's going to be breakfast.
Oh.
Yum.
So they get breakfast and a day of story for $10.
And lunch.
And
Mojo's
lunch.
Tacos.
Oh, that's a screaming deal.
How can you beat that?
You can't. Not with a stick.
All right.
All right.
This has been fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
I like
It's a lot
this.
different.
Yeah. I like this setup. I'm sorry you guys can't see us, but
Yeah, we're cute and all.
yeah, there's a picture on the cover image.
Yep. Yep. Or go to our respective websites. They can see us all there too.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, friends, for getting What's Your Story podcast going again.
Our pleasure.
Yes.
Yes. So if you have like a goat that you would like to unload, call me.
The screaming goat.
And you get $5 because I told you I'd give you $5 if you worked it into the recording. So
That's right.
Yep, I'll be paying up.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.